So this year, we had two recipients, as I said. One is to honor a man who's gone the distance to house folks, have a history of substance use disorders. And one is to honor a community member who has paid the price of addiction and is living in recovery and sounding their voice very loudly sometimes and making a noticeable difference with every step. Jim Adrian has been in the community since 1973, worked at the shipyard for 25 years, and has now been retired longer than he worked. However, I don't believe that. Okay? Not completely true, because he gives to the community every day. The work that he does for rental property, helping those in recovery, employing those in recovery. We rented Washington House, I think was the first house we rented, right around 2015. And then Jen helped us transition into the Wheaton Way women's house. It's now our men's house. So Jim, if you would come up, please. So we want to present you with our Voices in Recovery Award in honor of you and your work and what you've done for us. And we want you to know how much we appreciate you and everything that you even stand for. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Well, thank you. I really appreciate this. Our families, we've been in the landlord business for a long time. And I found doing business with nonprofits is much more rewarding than chasing the maximum amount of dollars. And doing business with West Sound has been really a good business experience for me. Ken sends me the check on time. Thank you. You take good care of the property. There's always people on call if there's a problem. But I just like to look back just a little bit. Even before most of you were here, or certainly Ken, I've been doing business since 2008 with West Sound Treatment through a lot of changes, as you mentioned. And in the 14-year period, we have partnered with West Sound in 17 different locations. We've rented to about 52 different families, about 250 people over that period of time. That was a program that you may not be familiar with called Forward Bound. And I still rent to 7 of those families. And that was a super good deal. It was a partnership between the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Washington State Department of Commerce, and the Bremerton Housing Authority, where when people moved into these programs, it was on a what's called a project-based voucher, if you're familiar with Section 8. And then if the families were successful, it became a housing choice voucher where they could move anywhere in the continental United States. So there's 52 families out there somewhere, not all with me right now, but have vouchers as a result of that. And that was an interesting program, because in order to qualify for the program, you had to have been in prison, guilty of a felony, and have had a history of drug or alcohol abuse. So this is not the ideal tenant. And West Sound did a really good job at that time case managing those people. There were some spirited stories, which I don't have the time to tell you about, because they all weren't successful. I do remember sending my son over to one of the houses. I said, something's going on over there, getting a 911 call. And this is before they figured out how to do the screening, and there was 2 people crawling through a bathroom window, and the police were all around. So anyway, we've seen a little of that. We're now we're renting one house to West Sound. I have no idea how many people, men and women, have gone through in the last 9 years in your houses. But when I was talking to Mrs. Wilson, she asked me if I learned anything doing this. And one of the things I learned is I don't have the patience to be a drug and alcohol counselor. I could never do that. And I'm fortunate is we don't have any kind of a drug or alcohol problem in our family, but I've seen it with a lot of my tenants. And at the men's house, there was two gentlemen I got to know there. And I was telling Beth that as they transitioned out of the house, one gentleman gave me permission to talk about him. His name is Ben Thompson, or Thomas. I don't know if any of you know him, but he was in jail for about 18 months. He transitioned to your house over there, stayed at 621 Washington for a year. And as I got to know him, he had some pretty good skills. So 6 years later, he's still working for me as my maintenance guy. And a lot of these people that you encounter that have had unpleasant encounters with law enforcement they can't get security clearances. There's a lot of employers that won't hire them. So it's a really big problem. And I also have another gentleman from West Sound Treatment that was in the house, and he's still working for me. And I found out in the last 2 days, I've got 2 other part-time employees that were in your houses over the years. I wasn't aware of them. But anyway, thanks Tracy and thanks Courtney. I've been on lots of nonprofit boards. It takes a lot of time to do that. And you guys are doing amazing work. You're making the community safer. You're changing people's lives. There's no doubt in my mind. So keep up the good work, and thank you for this. I appreciate it sincerely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. I appreciate that. It's nice to have partners like Jim. Our next recipient, see, I'm gonna get steamed up already, is an employee of West Sound Treatment Center. She was nominated for the award by her peers and leadership unanimously. She's the type of person who, if there's something to be done, she gets it done right now. Which is why her voice in recovery is so loud. She acts, but is not reactive. She leads her staff with compassion, humor, and sensibility. When she came to work for us, she stated, "The reason I want to work this program is that I know the struggle. I know what it's like to be out there and to feel lost." Your voice is being heard. It was recently said to me by a community partner how impressed she is of your responsiveness and your professionalism. It's an honor and a privilege to present this Voice in Recovery Award to Michelle Varga. This is an easy word to give. Jim was an easy word to give. I think I speak for everybody that we know you, we know where you came from, and we know where you are. And we see what you do every day. This company is better today. See, I can't do this. Because of people like Michelle. Okay, and there's a lot of Michelles. But this year, her voice has been very loud. The people in the community that meet her, they talk about her very good, very positively. And we need more of you. So thank you.
Thank you.
Now you want to talk.
Can I cry with you? It's okay. You have to say something. You do. You have to say something.
If it's okay to say thank you.
I just want to thank everybody who nominated me. It's an honor to be in this position and to be where I am today. And it takes a team, and this is my team. You know, I'm thankful that my husband's here with me because he's my #1 rooter, and I'm just really thankful for all of you. Thank you.